Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford. A lot to catch up with Danny. We have to discuss the conspiracy around Jaren Jackson Jr. And his blocks and steals. Danny has some insight on that. Also want to talk about the beef that's happening on social media and between potentially some players and NBA officials. But we would be remiss not to talk about what happened this past weekend with the release of the video of Tyre Nichols, the young man who passed away in custody of Memphis police. A bunch has happened since then over the weekend. There are some stories out there that I cannot verify at that time, but what we do know is that this young man did lose his life at the hands of members of the police department. They have now been fired, let go from the police department, and now under serious charges. We hope that justice is served in that sense. But Danny, I am curious what the environment has been around the team since the release of the video and even before that, because I know you wanted to discuss it on here on the show even before the video came out. But I think now is obviously the appropriate time because now we do have video evidence of what took place that unfortunate night.
Yeah, I mean, the last week or so, since we've gotten the news, we got the news before, obviously, the video came out about a week ago, and it was tough to take on. We didn't focus on basketball. We didn't watch film. It was just before Phoenix game, I believe. And obviously, we had a tough road trip, very hard. And I can't say it was because of this, but, this definitely took a toll on us emotionally during the time. We knew that the video was dropping the night that we played Minnesota. I advised a lot of guys not to watch the video until after the game. I didn't get a chance to see all of it until I saw some of it until after the game. I didn't want to watch all of it. But it takes a toll on you emotionally. You don't know how you're going to react. You don't know how it's going to make you feel. And I think for the organization, the team, the guys, everybody that was in the room that we discussed it with knew what was coming. And we're preparing ourselves and our family for, the city to be hurt and that we were going to be needed to be the backbone. And we got to bring some positivity, spread light, love, all those things while managing our own emotions. So it's just been a tough thing to swallow. It's a tough thing to hear, tough thing to watch, tough thing to be a part of when it's in your backyard. It's never easy. So we know the city's hurt, and we had a moment of silence for him, his family. We're just trying to send out our prayers and our, condolences and find the best way possible to support them during this time in the city of Memphis. So, guys are brainstorming what we can do to keep his name alive, his memory alive, and to support his family and whatever is best or whatever is appropriate. Everything is a lot of things are sensitive matter, but we want to do what's best for the family during this time, respecting them and showing them as much love and support as we can while they're going through it, while the city is grieving, while they're grieving. So it's been tough air, but and hard to focus on basketball when there's things that's going on in this world, in our city, that's bigger than basketball. But we're trying to find ways to keep the city positive.
Yeah, I admit it's tiring to always have to hear about these unfortunate things. And maybe tiring is the wrong phrase, but I am tired of seeing this. It's so frustrating. It is disheartening to hear about it and then to see it, actually, to have video of it just compounds the disappointment that we often see in the Black community when it comes to people who have power, particularly police. I think with this issue too, I think it does, because it was 5 Black police officers, and we did get news on Monday that another officer has been relieved of duty, a white officer. I think it does enlighten or does open eyes for those people. I know there's definitely a segment of people who don't believe that the disappointment or the outrage or the animosity that comes from people like us to police, they don't believe there's credibility to it sometimes, or they need to see more evidence. And I would say in this instance, I think it does open eyes because it was 5 Black police officers. And Yes, it's a black. Yes, there is racism in this world, and there are cops that are racist that exact their racism when they are doing their job or when they're on duty. But I also think it also heightens just the abuse of power that some cops take advantage of. We trust cops to be protecting us and bettering our communities. And I think these cops in this instance, and there's cops all around the country that simply just abuse that power that they were granted, that we have trusted them with. And so hopefully that it has opened eyes that, yes, in many instances, it is a black and white thing, unfortunately, but it is also a blue thing in terms of the abuse of power that comes from police officers. I've been fortunate to know some police officers who don't carry themselves like this, but it's disheartening to see police officers exact this type of hateful actions in this manner. You could apprehend a person and totally get if you have to restrain them by any means in certain instances, but to get to the point where a young man is killed, where he's basically held up and officers, for lack of a better phrase, allowed to tee off on him. It was just disgusting, point blank period. And hope we don't see it again. And I hope that we don't have to talk about this again. And I hope that the good officers that are out there hopefully take a stand amongst those bad apples that are in police departments across the country.
For sure. And I'm with you and hoping. And unfortunately, we know that the statistics show that it's probably going to happen. But for me, it's like, how? It's probably going to happen again. But how in 2023 are we still seeing this? We've come a long way, but it's still, and they know that there's cameras everywhere. They know that there's body cams, there's video cams, there's footage. That you're being watched, regardless if you're white, black, yellow, green, but you're in a blue uniform. You need to be careful how you interact with, especially minorities or all people that you're supposed to be protecting. I just don't know or see how we still are seeing this, or how this is still happening. I was just very I was mind boggled on how and this.
It was so bold. They were so bold. They went so far past the line and still so bold. And they
said that they lost body cams. And like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? But it's 2023. How are you thinking that you're going to get away with something like that? How are you thinking that it's okay? How are you thinking you're going to be sneaky or be able to sweep this under the rug? How are you even doing this? Even if that were the case, but come on. It's a way different world now than it was back in the 80s and 90s. I'm not saying that it was okay ever then, but we know that there was a lot less social media, there's a lot less cameras, there's a lot less focus on that, and they can get away with a lot more. So we're a lot of other people, but you got to be very careful on how you move with any job that you do, especially when it comes to protecting civilians or when you're operating with civilians, unarmed, handcuffed. Come on, we had this scenario a multitude of times throughout the past 5 years, and we've known how cities reacted by burning down places. Not protesting I guess peacefully. There's a lot of unpeaceful protests going on. So why would you want that for your city? Why would you want that for your community? It's just tough to understand all of it. But
the people who wear police uniforms have the power to restrain you. They have the power to put you in jail, prison, things of that nature, but they should not have the power to take your life away. Who knows the light that Mr. Nichols could have shined in this world, in his community, if he got a chance to live out his life. And so truly unfortunate. They killed him and they deserve to be under the jail. I'm not a judge, but it would seem fit. It was a disgusting act. Hopefully we never see it again. Back like a boomerang inside the green room with Harrison, Sanford, and Danny Green. I try to do punchline, Danny.
Oh, man. We had
The
all this
boomerangs
time.
come back, don't they? They come back.
It's been a week and some hours. You had some change. You had so much time to think of something. And that's what we came up with. Back like boomerang. Okay.
Back like a boomerang. Boomerangs come back. You ever do a boomerang before?
No, I don't think anybody in this chat or in this household has ever owned a boomerang in our lifestyle. Like, you know, old boomerangs are. I know they come back. Yes. That was an ultimate dad joke. That was a Shaq joke. Big shout out to Shaq for making the Danny Green dad joke. A good old knee slapper right there. But yeah, we'll live with it for now. But next week you got to come a little more correct with the
fair enough. Maybe I'll get some inspiration when I go to Memphis here this week to see you make your debut for the season. And we'll talk about your season debut here in just a moment. But when you make that season debut, I hope, and I know you're probably excited, to be on the floor with your guys, but particularly one, Jaren Jackson, because throughout the duration of your career, you've had guys like Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Tim Duncan, guys that truly protect the rim and obviously aid you in what you try to be defensively. With that being said, this past weekend, Mr. Jaren Jackson Jr. came under some serious internet allegations, forever how serious internet allegations can be.
Was it him or was it the statistician? Is that even the right word?
Well, I think in tandem. I don't think Jaren Jackson Jr. was under attack, but his stats were under attack. Thanks to a Reddit user who I think some internet sleuths have found out was also a Warriors fan, pointed out the big discrepancy between steals and blocks that Jaren Jackson accumulates at home versus the steals and blocks that he accumulates on the road. With that being said, thanks to those internet sleuths like Amin Al-Hassan and a bunch of other people, it was discredited. Jaren Jackson Jr.'s blocks and steals, when watched under review, it was shown that a heavy majority, like over 95% of them, were actually the correct call. But Danny, you're with Jaren on a consistent basis. What has he said about the allegations that were charged against him and the home scorekeeper?
Accusations. False accusations. He hasn't said anything, but the correct meme, the Rick Ross GIF, would be the correct one.
Is it GIF or GIF? It's GIF, isn't it?
I call it look that up. I thought it was a GIF, but I looked it up one time. I think it's GIF correctly, which sounds weird. But yes, false accusations. He hasn't said anything about it. We haven't spoken about it. He just does what he does, and that's what he does. And I think a big testament or they compared other people's steals and on the home. We play a lot better basketball at home. We're not great on the road. It just shows that. And I think a big multitude of that is because maybe he plays a little smarter at home, but he's in more foul trouble on the road than we are at home. He plays less minutes. You know, he's always on the road. He's on the sideline a lot. He's in foul trouble. I mean, he does get foul trouble at home, just not as much. He might play a little smarter. He might be more under control of his emotions. But as a group, we have our fans behind us. We have that energy, more adrenaline. We when we're down, we can turn around better at home than we on the road. You know, at home, if you're down 10 to 12, that might be hard to come out of that hole because you don't have your fan base behind you. You're down 10 to 12 at home. You know, the fans are cheering for you. You might get a little extra boost to be able to get that confidence, that energy, that encouragement to win a game against Indiana, which is one of our better wins because they were beating us. We came out slow. We found a way, but our fan base was huge with helping us recover from that. You know, there's a different air out there. Our guys are honing in or thinking too much about it or stressing too much of a weight of thinking about, we need to, pressure. We need to win this game. We need to do this. We need to play better. And we didn't really have much of a rhythm the last 5 or 6 games. But yeah, we play a lot better basketball at home. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. He plays more minutes at home. He's in less foul trouble at home. And that's why his stats are probably better at home. But yeah, accusations, false accusations when it comes to that statement.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, hopefully Jaren has a nice 10-block game sometime this year. That'd be, it's been done before. Get a triple-double.
Hassan Whiteside. Nobody else is doing it with blocks. We got to get Hassan Whiteside triple-double with blocks. Nobody else is doing it with blocks. It's, Hassan Whiteside statement right there. I get him on that.
I think it's on the table for him. He just has to stay out of foul trouble. He's got to do. It's not the. I'm not even disappointed with like the contested blocks that turn into fouls, even though those can be, slanted. But it's the
ones he has no
offensive
shot of
fouls.
getting.
It's
The offensive fouls and the
yeah.
ones he has no chance of getting that he's trying to block. And, we're trying to mature him and get him to understand. I'm trying to get him to understand. You can't block everything and you can't go for everything. It's okay to go for 80% of them or a lot of them that you're in reach of. But when you're out, he gets dunked on half the time because he jumps 10 seconds after the ball's in the rim. It's like, bro, you made that poster look great because you jumped after he dunked the ball. You're just trying to block everything. You don't have to jump. You can be there early, or if you're too late, let him go. And if you have 3 fouls, guess what? Probably should let him go. 3 or 4 fouls and you're in the first half or in the third quarter and it's early. You got to pick and choose. That's when you need to decipher, as a basketball player, what plays you should and shouldn't test or try to make. But there's a risk. So yeah, those are the ones that kill me. And I get offensive fouls sometimes too much too, but so the ones that he actually goes up vertical or tries to block, I don't mind those. But the ones that he has no chance of getting, and the offensive fouls that he's just running through people more than once, it's like, bro, you didn't see that guy standing there for 5 minutes. So yeah, we're working on that. He's gotten better with it. He is a coachable kid and he understands it. But for in order for us to be a contender, he's the guy, and I'm gonna continue to say it, he's the guy that we need to be that X factor, that rim protector, and also scoring in the paint and offensive rebounding, and knocking that, because he can shoot from 3 as well and being that floor spacer as well. I know it's a lot to carry, but he's very capable of being the guy to outside of Ja carrying us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you guys played the Indiana Pacers on Sunday, he knocked down a couple of threes in that matchup, and obviously him spacing the floor gives you a lot. I'm curious, now that you're making your debut, where do you see yourself fitting in? How have you gotten any kind of indication of what your minutes might be, rotation might be? How are you approaching? Are you playing back-to-backs? What do you know what might be coming forth in the coming days?
I don't, and I don't think the coaches know either. And I think that's the toughest part of being integrated in the middle of the season, right? Especially with a good team. You have so many great players and good rotational role guys that have played and earned their minutes and that are playing well. To throw somebody else new in there, especially with guys playing well, it's hard. You're going to mess up, take away somebody's minutes some way, somehow. So for me, it's just, my mindset is I have to earn my minutes. And I'm pretty sure that's the same with the coaches. We do have some guys out right now that gives me an opportunity, with Dez coming back from a grade 1 hamstring. John Conchar had concussion protocols. I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow night or not. Steven Adams is out. So we have Jaren at the 5, a little more Asante at the 5. We can go small ball now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they want to do it. I'm just trying to, earn my minutes, and hopefully I get, 10 to 15, which would be great to start off. If there's some available, but if guys are playing well, even like a Jake LaRavia, David Roddy, they come in, they give good minutes. It's hard to just take that away from them when they earn those minutes. So I got to find a way to earn my minutes. I have to find a way to earn my rotation. So coach, I know he'll give me an opportunity to do so, but he's not obligated to do that, and he doesn't know how he's going to play it yet. I guess he's still figuring out, especially with the fact that we have guys that are in and out, injured or not, up and down, and back-to-backs, who's resting, who's not. So, and me probably not playing a back-to-back. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I don't know. I think they're still trying to figure it out. Now my job is just to, once the engine starts, keep the engine running and not get cold, and stay professional, stay warm on the sidelines, and be ready for when I'm called upon.
So we dropped the episode last Wednesday, revealing that you're coming back February 1st. How's working out been since then? Any developments? And then I'm also curious, there had to have been some people reaching out in the NBA community that were like, hey bro, you coming back already? Like, I'm sure there had to be somebody who was like, yo, what's going on over there? With your new year and new knee.
A lot of people were surprised, but they're excited. They weren't saying how. They're just like, wow, this is big stuff. I'm glad you're back. Happy for you. We knew you'd be back. Some people were excited. Some people were impressed. I wouldn't say people were confused. They're just like, I didn't expect you to be back this soon. But in the play groups, yes, workouts have been going great. I've been working out hamstring, quad, all the muscles, trying to maintain the strength. The knee has been good for a while now. It's just getting used to playing and doing, I guess, repetitive action of doing certain things, and I've gotten that with playing multiple 5-on-5. We've had like at least 6 or 7 play groups now at this point. So at this point, it's just got to go out and play. It's getting my conditioning up. I think it's the biggest thing. But yeah, I've been playing, been moving fine. Play groups have been tough, but I haven't won many of them, but it's a little different. I think the play groups I think when I'm playing, it'll be a lot different, because when I'm out there with my play group, I'm the main focus, and they're trying to run the offense through me, which I know won't happen. That's not going to be realistic. I'm not going to be in ball handling or ball screens as much. I'm not be coming off pin downs and DHOs as much. But they have me doing that a lot more, and the defense is also able to focus on me a lot more, which made it tougher, which in turn made me a little bit work a lot more and be more conditioned for it, and doing more stuff that I'm normally would ever do. So I think I'll be more than prepared to be able to play a game, and be in shape and condition, and to do my role, with my normal role, which is usually just space the floor, run corner to corner, baseline to baseline, and defend. As long as I can chase people and defend, I think that was the biggest thing for me. But yeah, play groups have been going well, the workouts have been going well, and now it's time to see what we can put out on the floor.
Game time indeed. Looking forward to it. I'll be in the building Wednesday as you guys take on the Trailblazers. As we're recording that, I'm actually watching the Blazers play right now. Okay, before we get out of here though, Danny, two things. Number one, I know you were puzzled by the NBA All-Star starters. One thing being Joel Embiid not being a starter in the Eastern Conference. And the reason why he was not a starter in the Eastern Conference, it came down to the fan vote, which I thought was very interesting, because he is a guy who's very comical on Twitter, XYZ, XYZ. But KD is KD. Yeah, but KD's a villain too, but KD's obviously has a history a lot longer than Joel Embiid. Giannis has won an NBA title and 2 MVPs, and then Jason Tatum plays for probably the top 3 most marketable teams in the NBA. So if it came down to the fan vote, I'm not surprised Joel Embiid did not make the cut to be a starter. Obviously, he's balling. But I'm also with Shaq, though. I think it's not right that the center position has been reduced to the front court. It's very clear that Joel Embiid is a center. And it's very clear that the NBA has some really good centers right now. I know we went through a drought, but between Jokic and Embiid, they're carrying a pretty decent slate there of centers. I mean, Domantas Sabonis is a center, and I think he's a very good center for the most part. So it is kind of disappointing to see him not make the cut solely because the front court now it's basically 3 front court plays. It's not, you don't have a special determination there for centers.
Yeah, and we've had this discussion. I don't think that every position needs to be locked in. Certain guys can be any position. You shouldn't have to have, oh, Luka's in the front court or Luka's here. You could put somebody at the 3, 4. Luka definitely can play, a power forward position or get in the All-Star game as a power forward position. I also don't mind the fan voting, but I don't think it should be the determination when it comes down to that. I think the winning should be the biggest thing. And that's why I'm a little confused on how we don't have a starter in the All-Star game on the West side, because we are number 2 in the West. And Ja got snubbed of being an All-Star starter. And I think that's because of the fan voting, if I had to guess. Maybe the media voting, but I'm assuming it's the fan voting. And of course, Steph Curry is a great player and is an MVP, and they won a championship. And who else they had? Was it Steph and Luka? Is that the 2 front court?
Steph and Luka, 2 in the backcourt in the West. Yeah.
So I get it. Luka is have a hell of a year, MVP season. Could also put him at the 3 if necessary, but realistically, those 2 teams are below us in the West. And I don't know if both of them are in the playoff contention right now, but I know some of them are fighting for playoff contention, and we are number 2 seed in the West. So it's just, I think that winning part of the game should be the deciding factor, and the teams that are winning should have the edge. I know Bron is a great player too, as well, and has been killing in 20 years of playing in this league. Now, is there somebody that on a better team or more winning team could get that spot? Maybe. Zion, he's been out 20 games, and I know they were winning early on, but he missed a lot of games. So is there somebody else that's played a lot more games and that is winning more be in that position. Like a Domantas Sabonis, is that he made the power forward position, did he not?
Yes, he did. He got it as a front court. Well, actually, no, he's listed as a front court member, but he's not a starter. Well, you and I thought he should be a starter because the Kings are playing very well. They're the 3 seed. Yeah. He's obviously an engine to their offense.
Well, I'm saying Zion took Domantas Sabonis. Ultimately,
technically Zion technically took Anthony Davis' spot, who technically took Larry Markkanen's spot, who technically then took Domantas Sabonis to start. And as it pertains to Ja Morant, the players voted him number 3, the media voted him number 3, the fans voted him number 3. Typically, I would agree with your basketball takes. I think we think alike, but it is a game for the fans. This is what the fans want. This is a TV product more than anything. It's not necessarily an award. Yes, it is an award, but I truly think the awards are better served as all NBA first team, second team, third team. This again is an all-star game. So if that's what the fans want, that's what the fans get.
I'm a fan as well, and I think all these guys deserve to be in the all-star game for sure. But I think when it comes to the starters, those guys, the people that are chosen should have the deciding factor that should come into play is the winning aspect. Now, of course, LeBron James is an all-star. Of course, Steph Curry's an all-star. So is Luka. When it comes to the teams that are actually, I'm saying that they're not winning. They are winning some games, but they're at the lower bottom or the middle part of the West. When you look at the starters, I think you should go with the top half the top 10 teams, to choose from when it comes to the starters.
You can't always get what you want, Danny, but if you try sometimes,
you can fight for
it. You get what you need. Ja will be there at All-Star, and everybody who should be an All-Star should be there. Well, I mean, we'll get there more than likely. I think that might also include Julius Randle, who I think would be a tragedy if he doesn't make the All-Star team. Knicks are playing well. A lot of it is because of him, but that's a story for another day. Before we get out of here, Danny, I say this for last because I don't want you to get fined, but I do need your reaction. Okay. You mentioned LeBron James, him and the boss versus the Boston Celtics was quite must-see TV last Saturday on primetime on ABC. What a show! Balls. What a show it was. LeBron isn't just hooping really well for a guy who's been in the league for 20 years. LeBron is just hooping really well, full stop. Like he's just hooping.
For any player in the league,
for any player in the league, let's wipe out the fact that he's been around for so long. With that being said, they missed a crucial call in that game that could potentially have given the Lakers a win. And of course, the Lakers want to win. And of course, even more so against the Boston Celtics. So after that highly contentious game during rivalry week, as the NBA has been calling it, there was a tweet from the official NBA ref Twitter account. And I couldn't believe it when I read it. I had to double take, and Twitter's all crazy now. You don't know what account is real or not. But so I had to look at it a couple times. But it turns out this is a real tweet, and I'm going to say it one more time for you, just so you could dissect it. And again, you're my friend. I don't want to see you lose money, so be wise with your response. But I need you to be as authentic as possible with this. Like everybody else, the tweet reads: referees make mistakes. We made one at the end of last night's game, and that is gut-wrenching for us. Fair, Then it continues. This play will weigh heavily and cause sleepless nights. I repeat, let me go back. This play will weigh heavily and cause sleepless nights as we strive to be the best referees we can be.
Oh man,
Danny,
I wish I was retired to be able to speak more freely on this. I don't know if those guys do retired guys get fined too for talking about the refs.
I would hope not.
Yeah, I'd hope not. But the fact I am a current player on a roster in this league and in this business, so I have to. And not that I have anything bad to say about the refs. I mean, I have my complaints here and there. I do think there's some rules that could be changed. I do think we need to add another challenge, 1.5, or be able to keep your challenge if you win it. We did talk about the shots at the end of the clock. The buzzer beaters should be fair game. Shouldn't count as a missed attempt. There's so many things that we have on the list when it comes to the rules, the regulations, and the league, and of course, who will hold those rules accountable, the law, the referees. So They are human. They do make mistakes, man. It happens. It sucks when it happens. But there's not much you can, they're human. There's not much you can do about it. Obviously at that point in the game, but I think there needs to be some type of, they have the blue light. I don't know if you know anything about the blue light. I think especially when there's a timeout or a regulation. So this happened to us. We've had situations where they said on the Laker game, Desmond Bane was not fouled, is what they said. I may disagree at the end of the game when Dennis Schroeder stole the ball and laid it up, but Russell Westbrook did violate the lane when Brandon Clark shot his free throw, which ultimately should have gave Brandon Clark another free throw. This is the 2 minute. The 2 minute report. The 2 minute report the next day, which does us no good at all. It doesn't help at all. I mean, just let you know, okay, we lost, we got screwed, we missed the putt, but it doesn't give you a win. It doesn't change the outcome of it, but it's good to know. And same thing in Golden State. The 2 minute report recalled that Draymond Green set an illegal screen, which led to Clay hitting a 3-pointer against us, which gave them the lead, which we could have possibly won that game. But the blue light is, I think, in the Golden State game, this is where I learned about it. And this is interesting how things work. Now, teams are they're very smart how they use their Jumbotron, their replays now. They only put the replays up for the home team. And when so we can't look at it. When we want to look at it in Jumbotron, we have to go behind the bench and have our crew rewind, see if they can find something. But home teams are not putting up the replay center at all. So it's hard for us to challenge plays. So they had the replay going. I think this was when the ball went out of bounds. It might have went off Ja, or it might have been a foul that they might have missed. They were able to challenge. But during this time, is right before the 2 minute mark, which they were like 2 minutes, they put the blue light on, which means, they're trying to see, I guess, in Connecticut or wherever it is, if Steph Curry's last 3-pointer was a 2 or a 3, and they're trying to confirm it. And I'm like, why are they going through this right now when we're taking the ball out, when they're able to look at the replay and see if they want to challenge for the next minute? They shouldn't have that much time to look at a play. They know what they're doing. This is ridiculous. The blue light should only come on after a timeout. When it's time, when there's a timeout, you can review that then. But since you have the blue light, why don't you use that for end of regulation, end of timeout, or end of, whatever it may be? That can come into play when it comes to certain scenarios like LeBron James getting fouled. It's end of regulation. The referees missed it, but hey, there's somebody else checking to see at the blue light or at the table, whatever it may be, in Connecticut or wherever they're doing their reviewing, and seeing if that's a foul. And they could reward or award a team another free throw, another possession, or more time on the clock, however it may seem fit. I think that's when it should be used. So yeah, until we come to that or find out a way to do it, I think there's going to be a multitude of times where referees miss calls and make mistakes just because they're human. And, it happens. A lot of teams have missed calls. A lot of teams have gotten at the end of games. We've had it in the playoffs. In San Antonio, we played against OKC. There was many possessions in a game 5, 6, wherever, where there were mistakes made, and they had a 2 minute report the next day. So, for him to have it happen in the regular season and be shocked by it, I mean, obviously he's one of the better players in the league. He should get foul calls. But it happens, and thank God it's not in a playoff game, because it could happen in worse situations. But yes, we do need to find a solution. We do need to figure out, because referees are human, to help back them up. Whether there's a fourth referee watching from the stands or on camera where they can throw the blue light on and to be able to protest or contest or whatever you want to do with the call, or to award a team another timeout or another possession, that I think should happen or needs to be happening at some point. And I think for it to happen to LeBron James, I think that's when change will happen. So we will get our change soon enough.
I hope that we don't see something like that later on in the season, particularly in the playoffs. But for damn sure, if that happens again, NBA, do not
tweet.
Let your referees out here trolling with their tweets. That is that's a terrible look to have your referees trolling on the. Yes, you can address all you want. We're talking about sleepless nights. Get my ass, please.
They were trying to be genuine. You took it as trolling. That is their genuine response to it.
FOH.
And I do think some of them are like, damn, we are embarrassed by this. I think I don't think they're sleepless nights, but I do think they get embarrassed and they are like, thinking about it. It's something that weighs on them. The next day, next game, I don't know if they're sleepless nights, but I think it's something because they're competitors just like us, and they want to make the right play. they're, it's their job. They want to be great at it. So I get that they want to be better, but we're going to need some change. And yes, they had to address it because of LeBron James. But yes, in other scenarios, they probably shouldn't be tweeting about certain players. Just let the 2-minute report come out and leave it at what it is and keep it moving. But I don't think they're trolling.
Yeah, don't sass us. Don't sass us. You're already impacting the product. Don't sass us. I got notes. It was cool for once. It was funny. Like, ha, ha, ha. Y'all funny. Y'all cool. Don't do that again. Don't do that again. I'm not threatening anything. I have nothing to threaten. But don't do that again.
It's a bad look, basically. It's just a bad look.
It's just a terrible look. But what will be a great look is Danny back out on the court Wednesday versus the Portland Trailblazers. Looking forward to it. I will be in the building. I know producer Jed is already in Memphis, hoping to enjoy the game. Hopefully can enjoy a meal or two. Have not been to Memphis before, so looking forward to being there. And once again, hope that everything that is happening in the Memphis community now continues to uplift the Nichols family and everything around this case that is going to happen. I hope that it turns out to be a positive result and a positive resolution to what was a tragedy. No way around it. Danny, I think that's pretty much it. And if you got anything else, please tell them what to do before we get out of here.
Read, rate, subscribe, review, all the good stuff. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We gotta get Harrison some barbecue and some catfish. Some of the things he's not tried.
We're not having
down
catfish
here in Memphis, but we appreciate y'all tuning in, man. And it's been a wonderful ride. And now we're back to get on the court and hopefully performing. Now we got to perform. We'll still be back though, just from a different perspective now. Actually, me sharing the court with some of my teammates. So hopefully it's a fun one. Hopefully it's either gonna do terribly bad or amazingly great. Or hopefully in the middle. There's usually a gray area, but most of the time your debut is really bad or really good. And we have Harrison coming in the building, so hopefully it's a good one. So
yeah, hopefully I am somewhat of a good luck charm, but rest assured, it is a sprint. Sorry, it is a marathon, not a sprint. Almost butchered that. So we got time, my friend. Looking forward to watching you on the court. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week right here on Inside the Green Room. Until next time, deuces.